Hi everybody. I had a question, and that was, why do people keep staying stuck? Why is it that whenever you do your work, you stay stuck? And this applies whether you are trying to lose weight, you gain weight, you lose it, you gain weight, you lose it, and you get on this vicious treadmill. It applies to your finances, it applies to attracting the wrong person all the time. And so I thought I would share with you what I share with my clients in a strategy call to show them how it actually works, because it took me a long time to figure out, and I thought I'd actually share. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Natasha Williams, and I'm a toxic relationship expert and a personal development coach. And for me, it's about teaching, educating, and sharing to the world stuff that I never knew, that I wish I had, that I wish somebody had shared with me, because it would have saved me so many years of heartache and stress. So what I'm going to share with you now is my little PowerPoint graph that I've put together. So I'm just going to share my screen now. Right, so I explain things better than I draw, but I hope that you can understand. This is a person. So what happens with a person is when you are born, when you're young, up until about the age of 4 or 5, your 5 senses, your sight, your taste, touch, smell, sound, are not fully developed. This part over here represents the conscious mind, and this part over here represents the subconscious mind. So what happens is information that comes into your brain, you don't fully understand. It has a feeling. It doesn't have a word that you can describe it. So for example, up until about the age of 4 or 5, you don't know that you're poor. You only start finding that out when you go to school and you see that your friends have got a better clothing than you, and they seem to be better off than you, and that's when judgment steps in. And judgment is discernment. It's the ability to discern the difference between right and wrong, and good and bad, and happy and sad. And so when you're young, you don't know that you're happy or sad. You just know that that is what it is. That has a feeling. So if I were to explain it, your conscious mind, the top part of your brain, that's where your willpower lies, operates only 5 to 10% of your brain, where your subconscious mind is 90 to 95%. So a lot of people will say, you only use 10% of your brain, and that is the 10% that you're aware of. Your subconscious mind is not just running your thoughts, it's running your body. It makes sure that your lungs are breathing you, your heart is beating, your digestive system's working, your circulation's going. And also what happens when a trauma happens, when you are experiencing a trauma in life, your subconscious mind will take in everything around that event. So it will remember, for example, let's say a dog bit you. It will remember all those other events that happened around when that dog bit you. So what time of the day was it? What was the weather like? Was it summer? Was it winter? How many people were there? Did a car drive past? And it's going to flag all of those things to keep you safe for future. Now, how much energy, how much processing power does that use of your brain to keep noticing all these flags that are going on, besides trying to run your body? You get an illness that now needs to heal that as well. So that part of your subconscious mind is actually what is running your life. So I'm going to just show you a chart now. Let me just go there now. Right, so this was a chart that was designed by Dr. David Hawkins, and he was a psychiatrist. He's also been knighted because of his amazing work that he did. But I'll go through the chart with you. What happens when you are, if you take a table, for example, a table vibrates at a very slow frequency. It still vibrates. Everything in this world is made up of matter, which is made up of energy and little particles that are held together. So a table is more dense than the air, and so therefore we can move through the air because we are less dense than the table, but more dense than the air. So all emotional states also have energy. They have an energy frequency. So if you look at the bottom of the scale here where it says shame, shame vibrates at a frequency. If you go to the top here, you'll see frequency of 20 hertz. Hertz is the measurement, and that just means 20 cycles per second. So if you looked at a sound wave would move one, like a wave, like this, and that would move 20 times in a second. So shame is very slow moving, and you will know that. People are, when you're in shame, you even hang your head because you feel so low physically. So the emotion you would experience when you're in shame is humiliation. And the process you'd want to use is elimination. So you'd either want to take yourself out of the situation or even take yourself out. Your self-view would be miserable and you'd be happy 1% of the time. So that's not a very good outlook, all right? And so as you move up the scale here, you'll see these are all the negative emotions. These are all the lower emotion frequencies that are heavy. So there's a invisible line here. And this differentiates the happier emotions, the more lighter, uplifting emotions from the lower, more dense emotions. And what he found is that whenever you are experiencing those, he called it power versus force, and he actually wrote a book called Power versus Force. Force is where everything requires effort. So, going back to the subconscious mind, this part here is where you apply effort, you apply willpower. You want to quit smoking, you wake up in the morning, you tell yourself today's the day, but you are going against your subconscious mind, which is 95% of your mind that says, I need smoking like I need oxygen. And so it requires effort. Same thing with trying to lose weight, same thing with trying to change your financial status. So you can overcome it if you listen to 2,000 affirmations a day and you really just radically changed your life. Now when you cross... excuse me, when you cross this line here, that's when you step into your power. That is when things start coming to you and not at you. So you don't require effort. You start opening yourself up to opportunities because you're not so dense, because you're not so heavy. Things start happening for you. So let me get back to this chart, these pictures. So let's say that your subconscious mind vibrates at 50 hertz. Now if I go back to here, 50 hertz is in apathy or hatred. So 50 hertz might mean that you're experiencing despair, you just want to get out, you want to leave your job, you want to get out of the country, you want to skip, you want to go somewhere, and your outlook in life is just completely hopeless. And you're happy 5% of the time. That is what it's like in your subconscious mind. Now, this is how you grew up. This comes from childhood, and most people don't move up more than 5 hertz in a lifetime. Your conscious mind might vibrate at a higher frequency. You might be feeling in another frequency where you might be feeling anger or joy or sadness, and you might experience all of these at a different time. But the underlying emotion, the underlying feeling of who you are, you might feel like I'm not good enough or I'm unlovable. I was rejected as a child, I was abandoned. That stays with who you are. So you might tell yourself on a day-to-day basis, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to feel good, but underneath you don't feel it. Now what happens if there's a conflict between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind? Who do you think is going to win? Of course, it's going to be the subconscious mind. So you would have to put in tremendous effort here to try and shift this over here. Now, the way that the subconscious mind works is that's how your body is going to vibrate. It vibrates at a certain frequency. So how your mind is not just in your head, it's in your entire body. And that means that you are going to attract events, situations, people, circumstances into your life that are that same frequency, because we are electromagnetic beings. So that means that you are going to attract situations into your life that vibrate at that same frequency, which is 50 hertz. So you might say to me, I didn't ask for that car accident, I didn't ask for that burglary, but if you were at that time feeling at this level, that car accident might vibrate at that same frequency, and that is why you experience that. So if you want to stop attracting these experiences, these people, these situations, these work colleagues into your life, guess what? You have to change your frequency, and then you will stop attracting them. So the good news is you don't have to go and take out every single one of these situations one by one by one. You can literally just change your frequency. And by changing your frequency, you stop attracting these people in your life. Okay, so back to the chart. What happens when you start clearing all of these emotional states? And by clearing, I mean everything is we live in a world of duality. And when you're in a world of duality, you are experiencing good and bad, light and dark. And when you cancel each other out, you become neutral. When you cancel each other out, you're not swaying on the one side and not dealing with the other side. And so you integrate yourself and you become whole. You become a whole person, not a one-sided person. And so you integrate all of these emotions until you move yourself all the way up to the chart, which is in a place of enlightenment and peace. Now you'll notice as soon as you get over this line, your happiness level literally doubles. You're 55% happy, which means you're happy more of the time than you're not, versus 22% of the time if you were in pride. And so as you are moving up here, the chances of you dropping back down here will be very, very low, unless something major happens which gives you an opportunity to deal with it. But because you've integrated it, you're not going to go back into that state. Once your mind is opened, you can't put it back inside a box. It's opened, it's bigger. And so this is how people start growing, and this is how it works. And the reason why I tell people that talk therapy doesn't work is because talk therapy works on this part of the mind. It doesn't work with the emotional states. You can tell yourself and talk it through, but you don't reach the deeper feeling that is holding you back, those feelings of betrayal and abandonment. And the reason why talk therapy doesn't work is because your conscious mind wasn't developed till the age of about 5 or 6. And so your therapist will try and talk to you. And I'm not saying they do bad work. They do amazing work. They can't get to the root of it because you can't remember what you did on your 3rd birthday. You can't remember what you ate for breakfast on your 2nd birthday. You can't remember any of those things. The subconscious mind remembers it. And we remember it through feeling. And what all the medications in the world and the doctors do is they prescribe you things that suppress these feelings. So rather than using them as a doorway, we try and shut them off so that we can't access them. And then we stay stuck. So I don't want to make this too long. I know that people's attention span tends to go crazy. And it's a lot of information to take in. I will share more if you guys are keen. What I want you to know is that this can move. This can change. When you can transcend, if you are an empath, you will be sitting somewhere in the range of guilt and shame. Why? Because you're at the bottom. You're at the bottom where you feel like everybody else deserves better than me. Everybody else comes first, even though consciously you understand it. Subconsciously you don't feel it. And a narcissist will be sitting here in pride and anger. Now, this is the vicious cycle. You're going around in this situation over and over and over again. What we want to do is get you out of that cycle and transcend it by crossing over that line and getting into a place where they can't reach you anymore. I hope this helps. If you like, I can do a free calibration for you. I can let you know where on the scale you are, and I will send you this chart. But if you'd like a strategy call, if you'd like me to find out more about your situation, find out where you're stuck, I can show you how my program works, and we can change your life to a place where you are in this space, where you have the tools to know how to get yourself out of this. I'm a teacher. I don't just like to tell you things and tell you, you need me. I want to get you to a point where you're able to do this for yourself. And when you can do it for yourself, you can share it with others and you can share it with the world. So if you like, just click on the link below and set up a meeting with me. I am quite full. So if you want to speak with me, get into my diary. I get booked all the time, and please, if you're not going to make it, I ask you to cancel that appointment so that somebody else can make it, because it's not fair to book my time and you don't arrive and somebody else could have had some valuable input. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.